When you say discretional allocation, what's the basis for this allocation?
Perhaps you should ask the ones that were doing the discretion in the past. The previous administration of the fund, the previous board of the fund were the ones doing the discretion. We have not done any discretionary allocation since I became the ES of TETFUND. So I should not be in any position to go into their mind and say what is guiding their decision to make discretionary allocation. They are in the best state to be able to respond to that. But for us, we are not doing any discretionary allocation. We are doing allocation guided by the position of our Establishment Act. Equality of states, equality of zones, equality of universities, equality of polytechnics, and equality of colleges of education.
Some of the aggrieved institutions have accused TETFUND of placing severe conditions that have been able to restrict them from accessing this fund. And you talked about discretional allocation, and that in a way indicates that some people get a soft landing to get their funds.
No, you see, Benda, you are mixing a number of things. The discretion is not in disbursement. The discretion then that they were doing is in allocation.
But when you talk of discretional allocation and discretional disbursement, isn't this a question of semantics?
There are two different things. Allocation is to be given a letter that so amount is allocated to your institution. But for disbursement to take place, there are conditions that you have to fulfill.
But is discretional allocation not a soft landing for discretional disbursement?
No. It's the first step. But that is why many institutions have allocation letters, but we are still battling with unaccessed fund. Because they have the allocation letter, but disbursement has not been effected because they didn't apply for the disbursement, or they didn't meet the requirement of the disbursement, they didn't fulfill the conditions, etc. So there are two different things.
But do you sincerely think that many of these conditions needs to be reviewed? Because if the institutions are not accessing their funds, it only shows that TETFUND mandate is being defeated.
If we have 202 beneficiary institutions, and a few are complaining about stringent conditions, what it means is they are the ones that do not have the capacity to access their allocation. It's a matter of capacity. I mean, you have just said that some institutions are having numerous projects, and these are the tangible ones that are being seen. But at the fund, we are concerned about the tangibles and the intangibles, because people only see the physical infrastructure. People are not seeing the number of scholars that we are sending to all over the world to pursue higher degrees. People are not seeing the numerous researchers that we are financing. People are not seeing the numerous number of scholars that we are sending to attend conferences. People are not seeing the numerous amount of library resources that we are putting inside libraries. So we are concerned about both the tangibles and the intangibles.
But the reality is that most of the institutions, the tertiary institutions in Nigeria, are nothing to write home about.
No, I disagree. I disagree with that totally. Well, if you say some nothing to write home about, I will agree. But most, I disagree totally, because really our scholars are going all over the world. Scholars who are teaching in our tertiary education institutions, our graduates who have finished from our tertiary education institutions, are going all over the world. And they're going to some of the best universities, and they're excelling.
But the fact is that there is a huge research and infrastructural deficit in the country.
Well, there is deficit. Whether it is a lot, that's also contestable. But there is infrastructural deficit, and that's the essence of TETFUND. That's what TETFUND is trying to bridge. There is research deficit. That's what TETFUND is trying to bridge. But to say that the truth of the matter is, Nigerian graduates will go to any university in the world and excel. Nigerian scholars are pursuing doctorate degrees and master's degrees all over the world, and they're excelling. So if the quality of our education is nothing to write home about, when they go there, they will be excluded, they will be dismissed, they will be withdrawn. But they're not only struggling or coping, they are excelling.
You're saying that you don't agree with the fact that there is a huge infrastructural and research deficit in most of our tertiary institutions. But how do you explain a situation where none of Nigerian universities are in the top 600 universities global ranking in the world?
How do you measure research output? When you check the citation ranking, the world citation ranking of countries. Nigeria is number 27. Out of over 200 countries, if you are number 27, there's no way you will say there is huge research deficit, because publication is a product of research. Nobody published if research did not take place. If Nigerian scholars are publishing, and publishing massively, we are not happy we are number 27. We want to go up. But if Nigerian scholars have this massive output of publications to the extent that we are ranked as a nation 27th, the citation index of Nigeria 27th, I think you won't say there is huge research deficit. I understand there is management crisis, there is management problem.
Talking about research deficit now, where is the 3 billion naira high impact research fund?
Well, not about 1.7 has been accessed. Yeah, about 1.7 billion naira have been accessed, and there is about 1.3, and the president has approved another 1 billion naira to be added to the 1.1, so that we are replenishing it, because research is a continuous exercise and applications are coming on daily basis. So we are replenishing the National Research Fund allocation so that it will never go dry. At any time, we will have some few billions that we are going to be used to be supporting cutting-edge research in our tertiary education institutions, in any of our beneficiary institutions. So that money is being drawn, and the process is being refined again, so that we're going to get maximum value for the money that we are spending.
But if you're saying you don't agree with that there is a huge research deficit in the country, how do you explain a situation where the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria embarked on a 49-day vacation abroad?
You are reducing the tertiary education institution in Nigeria, the entire tertiary education institution in Nigeria, to teaching hospitals. I said teaching hospital, for us, is just a part of a college of medicine. But you are reducing the entire tertiary education institution in Nigeria to medical college. Or not only to medical college, but to teaching hospital. No, it's not. The tertiary education institution in Nigeria is much, much more than teaching hospital, much, much more than college of medicine, much, much more than any faculty, any college, or any school. It's an aggregate of a system, and you have to look at it holistically to be able to make judgment. If you are looking at teaching hospitals alone, you are not going to pass the right judgment on the Nigeria's tertiary education institutions.
But before we wind down on this conversation, there's a lot of intense concern about the situation in the tertiary institutions. A lot is left to be desired. Nigerians expect more from the tertiary institutions, and also because of the manpower deficit. This is your first year in office, so the past, you can be excused from the past, but what difference do you plan to make in this year, because you'll be held accountable by the end of the year?
You see, my plans are already unfolding. First, we prioritize normal intervention, what we call the annual direct disbursement, so that beneficiary institutions get the biggest chunk ever. But not only giving them the biggest chunk, the biggest allocation, but we are also looking deeper into what they intend to do with the allocation. And that's why we are doing project proposal defense. Each beneficiary institution comes before a panel, and we have a minimum of 1 hour interaction. They make their presentation, we ask questions, we give advice, we give suggestions before eventually we approve of what they intend to do. So we are trying to ensure that we are guiding appropriately the pursuit of our mandate by the beneficiary institutions, and the respect of our guidelines by the beneficiary institutions, and also the respect of their priorities.
The Executive Secretary of TETFUND, Dr. Abdulahi Baffa, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
for having me on the show. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time. What's your take on the standard of Nigeria's tertiary education? You may also send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week on another exciting episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru. Bye for now.